So I worked on the proximate composition and glycemic index of stiff porridges produced with composite flours in Kenya. Stiff porridge is a main staple here in Kenya, and it has been advocated to be used by people with type 2 diabetes, but unfortunately it has a very high glycemic index, and this is why we tried to formulate a different to formulate a stiff porridge using various flours that are available in Kenya to provide a meal that is a little bit economic friendly and also has a low glycemic index. So glycemic index is a measure of how fast or slow the blood sugar rises upon the consumption of a food. Type 2 diabetes has been progressing rapidly globally, with its prevalence at 10.5% as of 2021, and it is estimated to increase by 2% by 2045. Diet is among the regimens advocated for patients with type 2 diabetes by including or through glycemic control. But unfortunately, very few patients, especially in Kenya, practice this glycemic control. Stiff porridge is a staple cuisine in Kenya, popularly known as ugali, and it is prepared from cereals such as maize, millet, sorghum, and fermented cassava fermented cassava chips. Unfortunately, the GI of these stiff porridges has been shown to be high, despite the fact that it has been recommended to persons with type 2 diabetes. Additionally, there is over-reliance on maize in preparation of this popular meal, and underutilization of cereals such as millet, sorghum, and cassava. Therefore, the GI and nutritional composition of stiff porridge prepared from these composite flours was determined. The problem statement: ugali prepared from whole cereal flours has been advocated for use in persons with diabetes despite their high glycemic index. The glycemic index of traditional African food is limited in the international table of glycemic index, and the impact of various flour blends on the glycemic index of ugali is yet to be documented. And these are the gaps in knowledge this study sought to address. Justification. The information from this study will add on the glycemic index data of traditional African foods. It will provide diversity in terms of ugali types and enable people, both the healthy and ones with type 2 diabetes, make informed choices. It will also reduce over-reliance on maize, as well as promote the use of underutilized cereal. The objective was to determine the proximate composition and glycemic index of stiff porridges prepared from composite flours. The specific objectives was to determine the proximate composition of ugali prepared from composite flour, and also to determine the glycemic index of these stiff porridges. The methodology: these cereals were sourced from Kakamega in Kenya, a county in Kenya. They were cleaned to remove impurities, milled, and stored in clean plastic containers at room temperature. Fermented milk was bought from a local supermarket in Meru town. This is one of the accompaniments that can go with this stiff porridge. And these stiff porridges were prepared in the ratio of flour to water, that is 3:5, with flour formulations based on a Kenyan survey. And the flour formulations were, if maybe we were using maize and millet, the ratio would be 4:1. Proximate analysis was determined using AOSC methods and carbohydrate by difference. Ethical approval was sought from WIREC, and glycemic index determined using standard procedures. The inclusion criteria were persons with normal BMI, blood pressure, and blood glucose. The approximate composition of these stiff porridges, we had different types of ugalis, that is cassava sorghum, cassava millet, cassava sorghum millet, maize sorghum, and maize millet. Maize millet ugali had the highest fat content, whereas cassava had the least. We can see that also, again, maize millet provided very high energy values, and cassava stiff porridge had the highest carbohydrate content. When it comes to the participants, the screening of participants, they were between the age of 21 to 29, and they had a normal BMI, blood pressure, and fasting blood glucose. These were the sample sizes that were given to the participants so that we could be able to determine the glycemic index of these stiff porridges. Maize sorghum ugali had a low glycemic index. Cassava, so to cassava millet, cassava sorghum, and maize millet, and this could be advocated in the prevention of diabetes mellitus, in the prevention and management of diabetes mellitus. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Stiff porridge from cassava millet, cassava sorghum, and cassava sorghum millet flours have increased protein and fat content. Ugali prepared from maize millet and maize sorghum flour is superior in protein and fat content. Cassava millet, cassava sorghum, maize millet, and maize sorghum have low glycemic responses and therefore can be recommended in the prevention and management of type 2 diabetes. Thank you.